You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. You, that we have each other, and for that we have each other, and we will rise, we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again, and we'll rise up. I like the waves. We'll rise up in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this wave is stringing us along, just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. The trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Welcome to the USAID appreciation event. What photos, the smiles, the sense of community, the joy. I feel that in this room here today. I want to thank the many of you, the thousands of you who sent in your videos, your memories, and your photographs. We've seen a lot of them this morning. We'll see some at the end of today's event. But we have so many, we can't show them all. Rest assured, they will be archived and available on a website that we'll make available to you later. My name is Chris Milligan, former USAID counselor and moderator for today's event. I'm just one of so many people who want to show their love, their support, and their appreciation for all you have done. Now, let's hear from a very, very special guest about his appreciation for your work. Thank you, President Bush. Thank you for your support. Your support has enabled us, whether through the President's Malaria Initiative or PEPFAR, to save millions of lives and have a lasting impact. There are so many people we want to support, but let's begin by thanking those who made this event possible. A huge thank you to Georgetown University, which has given us this incredible space, the technical support, and a team of volunteers to make today possible. I would like to thank especially the Aid Transition Alliance. ATA is a group of senior women who came together in February to provide emergency support to you, our USAID colleagues. And of course, thank you to the USAID Alumni Association. UAA is a great way that you can continue to stay in touch with your colleagues. Membership is open to anyone directly employed by USAID for more than 18 months, regardless of hiring category. FSNs, political appointees, PASA, RASAs, Foreign Service Officers, USPSCs, civil servants, you're all welcome to join. More information about ATA and UAA is available on the websites, which we will provide to you later. There are so many other people we want to thank, and we're going to do that later in the event. So today, we're going to hear from some very interesting VIP and surprise guests. And you and I will enjoy listening to two panels. I hope you can stay with us for the entire event, because towards the end, you'll learn about the support the community is putting together to help you and your families. We know there's no perfect time for an event like today. We know that you are packing out, you are in airports, you're settling in. We wanted to get you all together while we still could. And if your colleagues miss this, rest assured, tell them there will be an archived video recording that we can all access later. Which brings up an important reminder. No informal videotaping of this event. Our VIP guests have made that request of us, and we want to honor that. We appreciate the support they're giving us. So do not record this event, because you can access an official recording later. Well, as I said, there are so many who want to show their appreciation for what you do. And I would like to turn to someone who needs no introduction to hear his words of thanks. Thank you, President Obama. Your words mean so much to me and our colleagues across the world. And I'm told that we have more than 1,000 people joining us in watch parties across the globe. President Obama, you asked us to stay strong. We are USAID. We have served in the most challenging environments around the world with courage, and your words will keep us strong. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce Susan Reifley, former USAID counselor, a dear friend, and an inspiration to so many of us who will moderate our next panel. Susan.
Thank you, Chris, and thanks to all who are joining from all over the globe. Indeed, those were amazing messages of deep gratitude from two former presidents, of strength, of healing. And now we are so fortunate to be joined by 4 of our 8 former administrators for this session today. There will be another session later today. And we are just thrilled to have them here with us. Not only today, they did so much to make this appreciation event special, including reaching out to not just the former presidents, but some others you're going to hear from later. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. And so our former administrators need no introduction. They're all legacies in their own right. And one of the things I loved during my career with USAID under 5 presidents is that from one administration to another, they carried on that work. So I am so thrilled today to have administrators Andrew Natsios and Gail Smith joining us, as well as Ambassador Mark Green and Ambassador Samantha Power. And so we're going to dive in because I know they have a lot of messages to share with you. And so they should, all of them, served during incredibly transformational times for USAID and development. Andrew led us after 9/11 and during a very important time in USAID's history. And then Gail took up the mantle with President Obama and having our first presidential policy directive in development and elevating development in a way we had never seen before. And then Mark introducing the J2SR, which I think everyone has emblazoned as a framework that we could carry on as Samantha then took up the mantle during a very difficult time of COVID and leading us out of COVID and elevating USAID's voice, not just at the National Security Council, but really across the globe. So we want to dive in because most importantly, they have so much they want to share with you. And so we're going to have an arc from one administration to the other, and really just starting with, what is the thing that you are most proud of that you feel had an impact during your tenure as administrator? And also the memory that really stands out to you that captures the culture of USAID and the staff. So Andrew, I'm going to start with you as our administrator who served under President Bush, please.
He's on mute.
And Andrew, you are on mute. It wouldn't be a hybrid global event without that happening at least once.
How's that? Is that better? Okay.
It is.
So thank you, Susan. Nice to see you, Gail. And we'll see Mark in a few minutes. I want to thank everyone for what they've been through the last 5 months, which I just think is outrageous, frankly. When I testified before the Congress in February, the House, I said in my written testimony that we will rue the day that we destroyed AID. And I said that no great power can claim to be a great power without a functioning aid agency, and that within 5 years we'll have to reconstitute it. That's my prediction. But the things that I'm most proud of when I was administrator is one, the Global Development Alliance, which technically I approved illegally because I hadn't been confirmed yet by the Congress, and you're not supposed to make decisions until after you're confirmed, but no one complained. That was in March of 2001. It became a huge thing, $6 billion a year. I think they calculated that private business and foundations put $60 billion into AID projects, and we put money into their projects. But I asked the Congress for people who said we were a bunch of communists, and I'm a conservative and I'm a Republican. It's a ridiculous charge, but why would business put $60 billion into an agency that they thought was hostile, which is, of course, they regard AID as a partner. And I had many CEOs tell me that. I'm very proud of what we did in South Sudan. We gave them independence. Salva Kiir said, I remember to me, at the independence celebration, I was teaching by that time at Georgetown, and he said, they tried to kill us all, and you saved us. I'll never forget that. What we did in Afghanistan and Iraq, we lost hundreds of staff. People didn't put on the front page of the New York Times because they were not Americans, but they worked for us. And they were aid officers because they worked for implementing partners. We just did a capstone at the Bush School where I teach at Texas A&M on what we accomplished 20 years later, looking retrospectively in Iraq. And it's actually quite extraordinary. If you look at the data, I'm sick of having people tell me it was all a disaster, not all disaster developmentally. I'll leave it for other people to talk about the nuclear issue or politics, but the fact is the child mortality rates have dramatically dropped. We restored, working with the Iraqis, the Arab marshes in Iraq, the greatest wetland in the Middle East. The PEPFAR program that President Bush talked about would not have happened without AID. The malaria initiative has cut malaria rates by 50% in many of the countries we work in. So there's a lot of things to be proud of, including the branding campaign that you see behind us. There was a big debate as to what we say on the tagline from the American people. We had many options and made that decision. The red, white, and blue is known everywhere in the world. It's interesting to me the Chinese have just issued their own branding campaign that they stopped. They started just as we leave the scene. It's Chinese aid for our shared future. That's their tagline, and they have their own, but they're copying us. The British criticized us when we did this, and then they came up with UK aid from the British people. The French did the same thing. So we led the way, and I'm proud of that. But my one last comment would be what do I remember about aid? Not just when I was administrator, but the whole 65-year period, is we left the world better than we received it. And I think that's a compliment to all of you. We can talk about budget cuts. We've had budget cuts before the merger with state, but the biggest loss is the loss of the staff and their history. And they cannot be replaced very easily at all. It would be 20 or 30 years before we can recover the damage done by the loss of the staff. So thank you all for serving, and I'm grieving over what's happened.
Well, Andrew, thank you so much for your words. We're all grieving, but we also are celebrating that we're together as one community, because this isn't over, right? We're together, and as you said, we've all of you have made such a difference. And that's what today is about, is celebrating the differences that you've made and the community that we're going to be in the future. When I think of community, I think of Gail Smith, who's here with me in person, and the development community that she built long ago and has been part of for decades. And so, Gail, can you share with us a bit of reflection on your memories? And
hi everybody. I'm actually, I think, more honored than proud. Sure, I'm proud of a lot of things. One thing is the fact that for this event today, we have administrators from both parties and multiple administrations, and whatever else may be happening out there, there has been and continues to be a strong alliance amongst all of us. And it's extraordinary and it's wonderful. You all have made that possible. And I think when I reflect on aid, like I'm proud that we did the PPD. I'm honored to have been part of really elevating USAID, which was my goal when I entered the Obama administration in 2009. Feed the Future, Power Africa, the Ebola response, rescuing people in Iraq off mountains. I mean, extraordinary things that have been done. But I think what I think about is you all made me feel safe. What do I mean by that? I remember my mother saying to me when I was nominated, how many employees do you have? And I said, 11,432. And what's your budget? And I said, 20 whatever billion. And she said, how in the world do you know what to do with that?
As only a mother can say, right?
And that's only a mother can say. But look, I had a team, one of my favorite memories, and this is like weird, is preparation for my first budget hearings. Now, I was nervous, and I knew AID well by then. I'd worked for AID in the 90s. I was a PSC. I knew the acronyms. I certainly knew more than people in the White House, because I could go to meetings and just dance all around.
Dance all around, yeah.
But the team put together, you all put together 2 books, 715 pages.
That's what we do, right?
I, not knowing any better, read every single page, and I took
And you stayed awake?
notes on color-coded index cards, which I have kept, and then did meetings with people. And You know, when people have said USAID is a criminal organization, don't even go there. What I learned and what I honor and am so grateful for is that USAID is the opposite. You are the people I knew I could go up to the hill and be asked any question and not only have the answer, but know that it was right and that you all were protecting the taxpayers' money and spending it wisely.
That's right.
I had a legal team that came in and said to me after I was in office, I had 2 shares of something from a health company that my grandmother had left me in 1981. And they said, we think you need to sell. It was $19. That was like the legal scrutiny.
Yes.
You were the people who, when I would have a brilliant idea, occasionally you would say that's brilliant. And occasionally you would say, that's been tried 14 times before, or that's not legal, or something. I felt safe and confident in my ability to say to the Congress, to the American people, to the president, that what we were doing was right and being well because of all of you. So you enabled me to lead in a way that I was on a foundation of such trust. And I will say, I'm devastated that development's been taken off the map for what the US does. I'm horrified that an institution as vital as USAID has been destroyed. Nothing makes me more angry than how you all have been treated. So I just hope that in some small way, this event, with all of us, all these administrations going way back, Republicans and Democrats, former political appointees, retired USAID officials, so respect and are so grateful for the fact that you upheld, and I know will continue to uphold, everything that is the best about the work we do and about America. Honesty, transparency, empathy. Yes, empathy is not a threat. Empathy is a good thing. Compassion, dignity, respect. And so, again, I'm proud of the things that were visible outside, but perhaps I'm the most grateful for the things I learned and was given inside by all of you. And to points that have previously been made, I will say what I believe, and I've already seen, is that you can take development off our foreign policy agenda.
Right.
You can take the sign off a building, but you cannot take the commitment to mission away from the women and men who make up USAID. And for that, I'm grateful and will stand with you and work with you every minute of every day, because they messed with the wrong people.
Right.
And we'll be back.
That's right. That's right. Well, you and Andrew, again, getting to the arc of like, this is not over, right?
This is so not
this
over.
is not. And because so much has been done, you all have done so much. And so now we want to hear from our administrator, Mark Green. Please, over to you.
Great, thanks, and good to be with all of you. And of course, my thanks and gratitude to all of the USAID family all around the world. So I'm going to refer to what I'm proudest of by referring to a few moments in time. Number one, I was terribly honored to be nominated by President Trump to lead USAID and to be given the mission of helping to reform and lift up and strengthen USAID. I remember like yesterday walking into the building, the 14th Street entrance, and beginning by my remarks by pointing out that the purpose of all foreign assistance needs to be ending its need to exist. And talking about the journey to self-reliance is addressing that need, helping people to take on the challenges and chart their own bright future. Within months, thanks to the terribly talented, motivated, mission-driven team, we were able to develop country-by-country roadmaps based on outcome metrics and put that into action. And it was nonpartisan, led by our career staff to make sure it would be sustainable. And months after that, we were able to put it into motion. And I remember walking with Ivanka Trump in Colombia and meeting young women farmers entrepreneurs in Colombia who had taken the mission that had been put forward, self-reliance, and put it into action. They were thrilled to have her, and she was really impressed with how quickly the team could turn her ideas for women's leadership into action. And that's a remarkable accomplishment. And not so long after that, we've all been talking also about the humanitarian side, the ability of the talent professionals at USAID and our partners to turn on a dime when the crisis calls for it, working with Samaritan's Purse to have pop-up hospitals after a hurricane in the Caribbean, or working with UNICEF in both Burma and Bangladesh to deal with the flood, the human flood that was the Rohingyas fleeing the brutality of the regime there. All of those things are extraordinary accomplishments from a talented team that put politics aside and stayed true to mission. And that's something that I'm very, very proud of. I'm proud of just being part of a team that knew how to make a difference and knew how to put good ideas into action.
So perfectly captured, Mark. I think that does really sum up the essence of our culture. We see a problem and we just run towards it, as we just heard from President Obama. And it's how do we solve that? How do we turn it on a dime? So Samantha, over to you, please.
Thank you so much. This is an incredible privilege to be a part of. I think all of us speaking this morning as former administrators would sum up our lives, probably would speak for everybody without having checked, but the jobs that we got to have as administrator were the greatest jobs we'll ever have. For that reason, Susan, that you just described, of just when you pick up the newspaper, I still pick up the hard copy of the newspaper in the morning, and you see things that are sometimes horrifying, sometimes inspiring, often vexing in the extreme. To have a team of people who figure out what to do again and again in the most dangerous places, in some of the most repressive places, in some of the hottest places, in some of the wettest places these days. Just that constructive, unfailingly constructive mindset. Even if what is happening to USAID weren't happening, I would miss that. I would pine for that every day. It's just a beautiful spirit of unfailingly constructive problem solving. And, you know, I used to say, even in our staff meetings, you know, how incredible is it that every day we come to work and we actually say out loud that we want to try to change the world today or this week or this year. And nobody rolls their eyes. They're like, oh, how do you plan to go about doing that? What's your plan? What's your idea? How do we iterate? You know, how do we learn? It's incredible. So, you know, I just offer a couple reflections on the privileged time I had at USAID under President Biden. So we started, as you said at the beginning, Susan, with COVID. And now we just kind of look back, we're like, oh yeah, 700 million vaccines. 700 million vaccines distributed all around the world. Yeah, sure. What? USAID figured out how to do that while the pandemic is raging here, while our kids are home from school, while kids all around the world are home from school. They found a way to do virtual learning. They found a way or to sponsor virtual learning around the world so that kids would only be set back so much in terms of their education. The contracts with the pharmaceutical companies. Do you have any idea how complicated those contracts are? But that's USAID, our contracting office, like, okay, we'll do something we've never done before that we've never got this. I'm just gonna say it's a pain, it's terrible, but we'll do it. We'll work those extra hours, we'll care more, we'll work harder because it matters so much. USAID, you know, it was like a global epiphany that actually delivering vaccines wasn't the same as getting shots in arms. That wasn't an epiphany for anyone at USAID, because USAID was filled with individuals who had worked on global health challenges and understood that distribution is as much about culture and being convincing and persuasive and having the right messengers and the right leaders in the field as it is about trucks and refrigeration. But watching the team, I mean, I was new. I was like, oh my God, how just the complexity and the number of dimensions on which USAID team members were operating on issue after issue. And COVID is just one example, but again, it's the dog that hasn't barked. It's the deadlier variant that didn't come, that as people who denigrate USAID, they don't talk about the dogs that don't bark. The Ebola epidemic that Gail and Raj helped snuff out in West Africa, or those that Mark Green worked on in the Congo and elsewhere. I mean, those are the dogs that didn't bark in the United States, that, and the complacency that set in, and the caricature of these men and women who just left it all on the field is beyond heartbreaking. The last thing I'd just say, reflecting on my time, is, you know, we introduced this idea of progress beyond programs, maybe, you know, sensing that the cultural winds or the political winds were shifting a little bit, never anticipating the sort of Doge shoot first, aim never approach, never even asking what USAID, never even being curious about the good that was being done in the world for the communities in which we worked, but also for the United States. But sensing that we would need to leverage every dollar that we had, and watching our teams embrace, you know, an old idea and one that had been practiced, but to celebrate it anew, the idea of development diplomacy, where even if Congress wasn't giving you $1 to do a program, you could still decide that lead poisoning needed to be atop the global agenda, and put that issue atop the you know, the global agenda alongside so many other things that belong there, because you're the United States, and because you have that expertise, and you can leverage all that is being done in these other domains. With the Development Finance Corporation, new on the scene in its current form, seeing our teams just embrace being the eyes and ears on the ground to bring deals forward, to understand that just as the PRC, as Andrew was saying, is trying to become more like USAID, we recognize the importance of infrastructure to development and want to get back into that. But USAID is a great teammate to the rest of the US government agencies who can bring equity and other forms of investment to bear. The private sector hustle, again, something that each of us as administrators has prioritized, but again, no one in the current administration seemed to even take note of the fact that we had increased in the last few years private sector contributions to development efforts by more than 40%. And that's a $5 return on a $1 investment. And that's, again, because of hustle. It's not because of some appropriation. It's because USAID embraces the idea of seeing the problem on the ground, the challenge before them, and saying, okay, well, here's what we need to do about it. Do we have money for it? Okay, good. If we do, let's see how we leverage that money. If we don't, that's not the end of the conversation. Then what do we do? What other donors can we get? What companies can we get? What other organizations? Just that spirit is phenomenal. So that is my the spirit of USAID, the unfailingly constructive spirit, is something that we carry on, and the ripple effect we felt for generations. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Samantha. And you captured that spirit so well. So I'm going to go back in a lightning round to wrap this up first with you. What is the one message you want to send, particularly to our teams today around the globe? It's your last day for many of you. Tomorrow, some are Foreign Service national staff, all leaving at different times. But what's the one sentence you would say to them moving forward? Over to you, Samantha, and then to Mark. In fact,
in brief, there is nothing that USAID has worked on where the odds weren't stacked against the intervention in some fashion. And what I love about this agency and its core is USAID never curses the darkness. USAID people find the light. So here in your own lives, as you look to continue to make a difference, never curse the darkness, find the light. You are expert at that. and we learn from you, and we are so grateful to you.
Thank you. Mark?
So I think it's pretty simple. The world's challenges haven't gone away, but nor has the experience and expertise of all of the people who are listening right now. We need Secretary Rubio to succeed. We need America to succeed. So find ways of taking that talent, that expertise, that experience, and apply it. Innovative financing. There are all kinds of ways that you can continue to make a difference. America desperately needs you. Again, we need Secretary Rubio to succeed. So let's find ways to help this mission continue.
Yeah. Keep up the fight because you're on the right side of history. You're all about what's right and wrong and building the world we want to live in, but know that we know it's hard and you're not alone. It's going to be tough as you seek the light, as Samantha said. Know that you've got a lot of solidarity and partnership from all of us, but together, keep up the fight. Let's keep going.
Yeah. And Andrew, who's joining us on his 50th anniversary, which just, it shows not only his love for his beloved wife, but also for USAID. You get the final word for the final message.
Well, what I've argued is that when the first crisis takes place, where there's a humanitarian element to it, they're going to need us, and we won't be there to respond. And that's when they're going to. That's we're going to say privately, why did we ever destroy AID? I don't know whether it's going to be a collapse of Cuba because they're on the edge now, or Venezuela, or a crisis in Africa, and we won't be there. The notion that they can reconstruct everything in the State Department with 800 people is preposterous.
Right.
And I said before, it's all of you and your expertise and your experience that is difficult to quantify. And I might say the loss of the Foreign Service nationals, which is half our staff, is the worst disaster of all of this. They were our rootedness in these countries, and their networks enriched AID enormously. So they're going on to other jobs. I think actually people are finding jobs fairly quickly. The thing that the administration did not realize is now they have 10,000 people who are quite angry out there in other institutions that could mobilize the institutions of our society to say, what did we do? Why did we do
So true. So true, Andrew. And that's what this is about. This is a community, and everyone's gonna hear later on in today's event about all of the community efforts going on, because we're not going away. And so with that, I want to thank all of our former administrators. I hope they'll join us for the 4 o'clock session as well online, and pass it back to our wonderful MC, my dear friend, Chris Milligan.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you to our former administrators. The many thousands of you online, I know, are joining me in our appreciation for their words. They talked a lot about the enduring impact of your work. And this is something you're going to hear throughout today's event. And that is something appreciated by world leaders. Next, we're going to hear some messages from some very special guests. First, we're going to hear from former UN Ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield on her personal reflections on USAID. And then we'll hear from 2 Nobel Peace Prize laureates on how USAID has had a lasting impact in their countries. We'll hear from President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf from Liberia and President Juan Manuel Santos from Colombia. Let's listen to them now.
Dear USAID colleagues and friends, today is a sad day for me, and I know for many, no, most of you. Over the decades, yes, decades, I have had the privilege of working alongside many of you on refugee crises, food security emergencies, and issues impacting the last, the least, and the lost in our world. I have seen USAID personnel in action, and let me tell you what a difference you have made. USAID personnel, foreign service, civil service, locally engaged staff, and contractors are on the front lines of conflict. Many of my colleagues lost their lives while on duty representing our nation and protecting the vulnerable. However, despite the dangers and difficulties, I witnessed firsthand your ability to combine deep technical knowledge, cultural agility, and an unshakable commitment to people to make progress on the issues that matter most. The transferable skills you have, your ability to navigate complex political environments, engage communities with humility, and deliver results under pressure are indispensable to U.S. foreign policy. Time and time again, I saw USAID staff step into some of the most challenging circumstances and situations you can imagine, and doing so by delivering opportunity and hope. So today, I simply want to say thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your expertise. Thank you for your compassion and your deep sense of mission. Every community you've served, every task you've taken on has made countries around the world more sustainable, more equitable, and more resilient. And to your families, I also want to say thank you. I know the sacrifices you've made. Your support has been essential to the success of this vital work. Allow me also to speak on something hard. I know your futures are uncertain, so let me underscore the same truth once again. USAID professionals are not just development experts. You are highly skilled, culturally agile, and brilliant individuals. I'm certain the expertise and abilities you've developed will continue to serve you in the years and decades ahead. You have my utmost confidence. I commend you for living a life of service, and I thank you for it.
I'd like to send warm greetings to everyone in the USAID community. In this difficult and challenging time, I want to thank you for all the work you have done and continue to do to fight poverty and improve people's lives around the world. USAID has been a wonderful partner to the people in Liberia and has helped our country in the many years from the very beginning when President John F. Kennedy boldly established USAID as a pillar of US leadership in 1961. USAID has stood shoulder to shoulder with the people of Liberia. USAID helped establish the John F. Kennedy Medical Center in 1971, and ever since, the medical center has been at the foundation of the Liberian healthcare system. At the same time, in the education sector, USAID worked closely with our government to help establish both the Monrovia Consolidated School System and the Kakata Rural Teacher Training Institute in the early 1960s. Over the years, through thick and thin, USAID has always been there to support the Liberian people. Our reconstruction and rebuilding after our long civil war would not have been possible without the strong support of USAID programs supporting democracy, the rule of law, health, education, and economic revitalization. We have now enjoyed more than 2 decades of peace and 2 peaceful democratic transitions, which would not have been possible without the support of USAID and other partners. We are heartbroken to see the United States back from global leadership and its partnership with so many countries around the world. But I know that I speak for the people of the world when I say that we will never forget the sacrifice and contributions that each of you has made. USAID's core strength has always been its people, skilled, compassionate, dedicated, and tireless people who serve as the very model of public service, both to the United States and the larger global community. So I want to thank each and every one of you for all that you have done and all that you will continue to do in the next phase of your life. You should know that your contributions are recognized and would always be deeply appreciated. Thanks for all that you do and have done to make the world a better place.
Dear friends at USAID, I want to thank you for the extraordinary work that you've done and continue to do for Colombia and for global peace and development. USAID was a vital partner in our efforts to implement the peace agreement and build opportunities in the regions most affected by conflict. Whether it was supporting alternative development, helping vulnerable communities, or working with Venezuelan migrants to build stable futures in Colombia, USAID has always brought both professionalism and compassion to the table. I've had the chance to meet many of you in Washington and in the ground in Colombia, and I've seen the real impact of your commitment, reducing migration pressures, giving rural families alternatives to coca cultivation, helping vulnerable communities, and investing in opportunities for young people so they could believe in a future beyond violence. Thank you for your dedication, for believing in peace, and for helping build a better future for Colombia, for the region, and for the world.
You have just heard from world leaders about how you have been a vital partner, how you have stood shoulder to deliver hope and opportunity. And most importantly, you have heard from world leaders how your contributions and your sacrifices will not be forgotten by the world. We will have one more panel and then a surprise guest who I know you will want to hear from. And then we'll move to a quick session on how you can access support that you and your families need. So let's move to our next panel and let's explore the theme of the enduring impact a little further. It's my pleasure to introduce one of USAID's own, Ambassador Erin McKee. Erin.
Chris, thank you. Greetings, everybody. I'm honored to be able to take it from a leadership or presidential perspective down to brass tacks and what we mean by enduring impact and the personal perspective that I know that we all have and the stories we have to share. But we're going to hear from some amazing folks here today. I'm joined by Matt Nims, who is former Bureau of Humanitarian Assistance, but most of you probably remember him when he was spearheading the Food for Peace office. We called him Mr. Food. And he is currently with the World Food Program. Also joined by Minty Wade, who is the former Deputy Office Director for Strategy in PLR, and Malika Jorakalova, who is a former USAID FSN from Tajikistan, who I had the pleasure to meet there, and also worked for UN Women, but is currently a master's student here at the U.S. Carter School for Peace and Conflict Resolution at George Mason University. So let's kick it off. Matt, I'm going to start with you. From a global perspective and your insight from leading Food for Peace for so many years, what has been the impact of U.S. food assistance globally?
Thanks, Aaron. And just let me just say, just a pleasure to be here. You know, like kind of the blue collar, knuckle dragging food guys. It's just it's great to be here and to talk about it, because in many ways we really, I think a lot of people in the U.S. think about humanitarian assistance and they think about food, and I just it's something we should put into some perspective. So it's been around for a while, even a little bit before the agency, but we're talking over 60 years. And in that time, we're talking over 4.1, billion people that have been serviced by this. And when we say service, because we're USAID, that's not just one meal. That has to be at least 100 days with a family ration of this size and all of that. And that's how we can count that. So 4.1 billion, that's over 200 million metric tons. So what is 200 million metric tons? Well, that's over almost 10 million trucks that can circle the globe 4 times. Just to put that in perspective, like that's a crap ton of food. And we've had incredible impact. We've also been one of the leaders of nutritional products globally. So these products have saved children for the last 40 years. We're talking all the way from oral rehydration salts in Bangladesh to now the superfood that people talk about, Plumpimet, or the ready-to-use therapeutic food. These are saving babies and infants around the world, have been, and will continue to do so. It's an incredible legacy. It's something I'm really proud of. And I think one of the last aspects that just in the last 10 years, just through some of the food programs, we've seen $11 billion go directly to US farm ag. So it has impacted several levels, and it's something that we should all be there and proud of.
Thank you, Matt. I am, and the visual of the truck circling the globe, well, our environmental teams probably say, no, don't do that, is really powerful. Thank you. Malika, first, I'd like to thank you for sharing your story at a service a few weeks ago that was honoring USAID at Trinity Church. I think it was last month. I would love to hear your perspective on how USAID's investments have impacted your home country and you personally.
Yeah, Erin, thank you very much for giving me the chance to share my perspective on USAID investments and how it really impacted the life of people in Tajikistan. Like in so many other countries, USAID has been a key partner for government of Tajikistan in advancing economic development and reducing poverty, enhancing good governance and civil society, improving health and social services, and of course, the cause which is so close to my heart, promoting gender equality and women's empowerment. Of course, my relationship with USAID started long before I joined USAID officially in 2012. It started during my childhood when I was just 9 years old and the civil war started in Tajikistan in 1990s. And the civil war, it devastated my country, and also it's took 150,000 lives and displaced over 1 million people. I was also, it was that time when we start learning about the generosity of the American people, and the humanitarian aid start arriving to Tajikistan. And Matt, you understand the items that I will be explaining right now, because you're working in the humanitarian field. Those like canned oil, flour, and lentils, It wasn't just food. I think it was more like hope. And also it was the symbol of compassion from the people half a world away. After that, I was also fortunate to become a recipient of educational exchange program that was funded by the US government. And it also again helped me. It helped me because it helped me to get exposed to the different way of thinking. And of course, it broadened my horizons. So years later, I was fortunate again, and I was excited to join USAID. And this time I was proudly representing USAID, working in Tajikistan, serving for its mission. And this is the development agency which doesn't just advance the US interests, but also truly empowers local people, empowers ordinary people. Through USAID funded programs, we supported women and girls in the southern regions of Tajikistan, bordering Afghanistan. We supported them to start their small agricultural enterprises. So some of those families, they could even support their male family members to stay there, but not to migrate overseas, because migration is a huge issue for Tajikistan, and 45% of the Tajikistan GDP comes from the labor migrants remittances. Yeah. I'm thankful to all the investments USAID made in my country and its people. And I just wanted to thank all the colleagues, every single person that I met while working for USAID. Those people, they left a footprint in the improvements of life of ordinary people all over the world. And the skills, knowledge, and expertise that we all have gained while working for USAID will help us to stay resilient and keep promoting USAID values all over the world. Thank you so much.
Malika, thank you. Menti, as a global organization, not trucks going around the world, we all have different journeys and reasons for joining USAID. Could you share with us why you joined USAID and what made you stay?
Thank you very much for the question. And Malika, our stories, we grew up on separate continents, but our stories are intertwined. And I'm going to do my best to get through this without crying. My journey to USAID actually started 35 years ago. I was one of the thousands of Liberian refugees that fled Liberia because of the brutal civil war that claimed the lives of 250,000 people. My family, my grandmother, Della, made sure she kept us safe throughout the war, kept us away from all the horrible things that happened to women and girls during the Liberian Civil War. And we fled to Cote d'Ivoire, which is Ivory Coast. And imagine an 8-year-old girl, scared, terrified, not understanding the language. But as we arrived to the refugee camp with hundreds of people surrounding us and speaking in accents I did not understand, I was told that there were people who would come and help us. I didn't know who those people were, but I remember hearing that we would get rations. So we got up and got ready to go into the lines. The people there had smiles on their faces. They gave us rice, they gave us beans, they gave us oil, and medicine, which we desperately needed because malaria was a big thing in Liberia, Ivory Coast, and so forth. While I didn't know the name of those people, the logo stuck with me. I remember the hand, I remember the flag on there, and fast forward, my family immigrated to the United States after 6 years of refugee life, which I would never wish on any child, or needless to say, an 8-year-old child. And for me, I carried the spirits of so many children who did not make it. I had a sense of commitment, which my grandmother told me was that I had to give back. And I wanted to give back to this country that had given me so much. From my refugee life to now. So I worked for the Government Accountability Office. I loved it. I did work on Iraqi refugee assistance. I did work on Afghan, and I enjoyed it, but something was missing. And that something was USAID. I remember leaving the GAO, which I loved and didn't want to leave, but that pull was so strong, and I ended up getting my badge at USAID. While for most people that seems simple, for me, it was a mission. I had come full circle from standing in line as a refugee child when my family did not have the food or hope or anything. USAID was there. And why did I stay? Quickly, I stayed because USAID is my mission. I stayed because I am USAID. I stayed because I had the privilege to spearhead our effort to respond to the Counter Lords Resistance Army Africa in the middle of the Democratic Republic of Congo, where we had no 911, and USAID did a public-private partnership to set up one of the first towers in DRC. USAID did that, working very closely with State Department and DOD. USAID fought at the table at the National Security Council. We made sure that civilian protection was top of mind for every military operation. And that was a critical factor in all of the planning. I stayed because I got to serve with some amazing colleagues in a bureau for PLR, where we rebuilt the discipline of development, the program cycle, which is a common language. I stayed because I worked with phenomenal people, whether there were the EXOs, whether they were the FMOs, whether the program cycle. I stayed because we all have a story. And I stayed because USAID, we're strong, we're resilient, and we do hard things, as I told my 8-year-old son, which feels like I'm talking to my 8-year-old son. That's why I stayed.
Thank you. We were lucky to have you. We were lucky to have all of you as part of this amazing family community. Thank you for sharing your stories. Matt, any final thoughts?
I think I'm humbled and honored to be with such esteemed colleagues, both here and in this whole thing. I think it just bears mentioning, you know, a lot of, I think, humanitarian assistance, you know, the OFTA, the Food for Peace, the now BHA, came from this idea that America should help others. And that might, you know, wave over time, but it still exists. I firmly believe that still exists. And when something is good and right and powerful as USAID is, because it still is, it's gonna come back. And I think there's no greater testament to that than the last 3 or 4 weeks. You know, I'm working now, as was mentioned, with the WFP. I haven't seen BHA work harder over the last 3 weeks in their whole history as what I've seen these last 3 weeks. They are desperately trying to get the last awards done, position themselves for the transfer over to whatever comes. This is what is USAID. The spirit to help, no matter what the odds. And that will continue no matter what. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Back over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Erin, and thank you to our panelists. You have given us powerful examples of the direct impact that USAID has had on human lives across the globe. We will hear next from our surprise guest, and then stay online to learn about the support that the community is mobilizing for you, and then we'll move to our conclusion. So our surprise guest, well, Bono is not only known as a lead singer for U2, more importantly, he is a great humanitarian. He has been dedicated to ending absolute poverty and particularly focused on HIV/AIDS. He has won numerous humanitarian awards, and he has this message for you. Let's listen now. Bono, and thank you for speaking directly to the thousands who are online. You are a humanitarian, as are we and our colleagues, and we're all part of that global humanitarian family. But to those of you out there, I know that you're concerned, you're confused, you're worried for yourselves and for your families, but you're not alone. There is a community back here that has mobilized, that is putting support in place to help you transition. And now we're going to hear from Alicia Dinnerstein. Alicia has been leading efforts since way back in February, and she is here to talk about the support that the many organizations are putting together to help you. Alicia.
Thanks, Chris. Hi, everybody. As Chris said, my name is Alicia Dinnerstein, although I have a feeling many of you may know me as LeeDGNo47@gmail.com. And over the past 5 or 6 months, I've had the pleasure of actually interacting or participating with many of you in a number of webinars and listening events. Some of them talking about grief and trauma, some of them talking about how to deal with having your kids go through these incredible changes that your families are making right now. Also, we talked about job search strategies, and just last week, unfortunately, we had a session on how to apply for unemployment insurance. But I am just one of dozens, if not hundreds, of people who have stood up to figure out how best to serve this community. None of us want to let you all think you're alone in this, and we are here with you. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's going on. Before I do that, though, I just want to let you know we're going to be dropping a whole bunch of links in the chat. And it would be great if you wanted to click and open them now, but if not, we are going to send a follow-up email to everyone who registered. And if you have not registered, you can send an email to leedino47@gmail.com, and I will make sure that you can get the follow-up email with all of the registering links. We go to the slide now. First of all, actually, I should have started out by saying it's really not fair that I'm following Bono, but I'm gonna, I figure you all really want to know what's happening, so I might as well give it a shot. So the Aid Transition Alliance has been mentioned a couple of times already. The Aid Transition Alliance was formed by 4 USAID women who decided that we wanted to help out our USAID friends and colleagues. And coincidentally, we happen to focus on 4 work streams. And originally we called ourselves Point 4, which some of you will get the gist there. So when we formed the Aid Transition Alliance to figure out what we could most effectively do for the community, we came up with these 4 different work streams. And the first is wellness. And ATA is partnering with the Contera Group, which used to run staff care for USAID, to offer webinars and group discussions related to mental health and wellness, individual counseling, and other resources. The second work stream is career transition, and ATA has been collaborating with Georgetown School of Foreign Service to design an 8-week program called Pivot with Purpose. It kicked off on June 16th, but it's still going, and it's not too late to join. It offers 2 different tracks for webinars, one on practical job search skills and another on possible new career paths you might want to explore. It also offers coaching and a website with tons of career resources. Next up, we have knowledge capture. ATA is supporting an oral and visual history project in conjunction with UAA, the USAID Alumni Association, and an OECD DAC initiative called Coherent Digital, which eventually will host something called the USAID Commons, which will be a new online archive. Our final pillar is communications, and for this work stream, ATA is helping USAID revamp its website so it can serve as a central hub for all things related to supporting the U.S. foreign assistance community. I'll tell you more about USAID in a minute, but before I do, I also want to mention that ATA also funded Stand Up for Aid, a strategic communications group that produces powerful moving stories about how closing USAID is affecting the US and the world. Stand Up for Aid publishes periodic situation updates, and I think a new one should be out today, and you can access them on the USAID website. So for those of you who don't already know, what is USAID? It was started by 2 former USAID staff, Julia Hurley and Kate Kopecki, shout out to you guys, with the initial goal of bringing together the various groups working on congressional engagement and public education, talking about the impact of dismantling aid. Since then, USAID has evolved. Its mission is now to sustain and empower the U.S. foreign assistance community by convening all of the grassroots groups that have emerged since January, and there are a lot of them. It also serves as an information hub. Their website has resources on career transition, wellness, unemployment, litigation, repatriation, and more. Plus, they've got nearly 3,000 members across 31 state groups. And those groups can help you stay connected and engaged wherever you land, including helping you to connect with lawmakers in your community so you can advocate for foreign aid locally. Another big player is the USAID Alumni Association, which literally exists to support and connect former USAID staff. Right now, UAA is focused on a few things, including helping folks who are relocating back to the US by providing info on housing, retraining, schools, airport pickups, and by offering support through their regional networks. They're also trying to help us stay connected with our FSN colleagues, and they're pushing to preserve USAID's institutional knowledge. Starting soon, UAA will be providing targeted financial support to former USAID staff through a new solidarity fund. And they're also trying to work out the details for a small loan guarantee program. If you haven't joined UAA yet, now's a great time to do it. They're offering a discounted membership rate. I feel like a commercial that's at midnight. Just $1 for the rest of 2025 for recently separated USAID employees. Check out their site to see the details about joining and to find out more about their financial support program and their efforts to record and preserve USAID's legacy. If you're in need of financial help, you can also check out the Solidarity Fund, which gives one-time grants to former USAID staff. So far, they've supported 21 households, which is over 100 individuals. We're dropping links in the chat now for Solidarity Fund, both if you want to donate to it or if you'd like to apply for the fund. Next, we've got our USAID Community Litigation Team, an amazing group of volunteers who have been coordinating and keeping tabs on all the legal actions affecting USAID programs and USAID staff. They share weekly updates that you can find on USAID's website, or you can join their listserv to receive them directly. Check out the link in the chat for info on how to do that. And there are a lot of other great resources out there, too many to name, but we're going to drop a few more helpful links in the chat now. And again, we will follow up with an email. And I think almost all of these, if not all of them, are on the USAID site. So if you've already signed up for updates from leedd47@gmail.com, you will be receiving this. And if not, shoot me an email now and we'll make sure that happens. But please make sure you check your spam folder and that you provide your correct email addresses, because I get a lot of messages that have wrong addresses, and I know messages are going to people's spam. The one last group I want to shout out now is AAFSW, the Associates of the American Foreign Service Worldwide. They provide in-person support through their evacuation support network with over 120 volunteers in the DMV area. And their next event is a welcome coffee on Wednesday, July 16th from 10 to 12 for people who are coming back to the States. It's going to be held in Arlington near Boston Metro. Everyone is welcome, and you can check out their website for the information. Before we move on behalf of the entire community, I'd also like to thank, now that I've sort of said who's doing what, I would like to thank a few of the organizations and groups that have gone above and beyond. First, a huge thanks to AFSA, especially to Randy Chepter, who's been one of our most visible and most vocal champions. Also thanks to AFGE, the Civil Service Union, and to the elected PSC council reps for fighting for all of the civil service staff and PSCs impacted by these cuts. Thanks to our Georgetown hosts for helping us pull this event together, and especially to Adia Armstrong, with whom none of this would be happening. And I would like to recognize all of the volunteers. So many people have stepped up in so many amazing ways. I know I've missed some, but I already mentioned most of the groups on this list, with the exception of 2. So let me specifically thank Aid on the Hill, a group of former USAID staff and partners who have been visiting Congress every week for months to advocate for restoring foreign aid, and Friends of USAID, another group of former staff who created a great comms group giving us powerful memes and videos, many that were hysterically funny, about the value of USAID and international development. I've appreciated their ability to make me laugh when I was ready to cry. The truth is, there are millions of people across this country and the world right now who recognize the value of USAID's work, of your work. So while I'm grateful to have had the chance to spotlight some of USAID's amazing allies, I'll end by thanking all of you, regardless of your hiring mechanism, how long you worked for the agency, or whether you were posted in Washington or overseas. It's USAID staff. You are the ones who made it all possible. Thank you for all that you've done. As Bono said, you are the best of us.
Thank you, Alicia. It's inspiring the amount of support the community has mobilized to help you, to recognize and appreciate what you've done. And Alicia, again, thank you so much for your leadership. We will move toward our conclusion with a short video and then final remarks. We've heard a lot about the history of USAID. Let's go back to 1961 to hear President Kennedy's own words about why what you do matters.
Today, we seek to move beyond the accomplishments of the past, to establish the principle that all the people are entitled to a decent way of life. This is the most demanding goal of all. We have made a good start on our journey, but we have still a long way to go. The conquest of poverty is as difficult, if not more difficult, than the conquest of outer space. and we can expect moments of frustration and disappointment. But we have no doubt about the outcome. For all history shows that the effort to win progress represents the most determined and steadfast aspirations of man. Our problems are man-made, therefore they can be solved by man. For in the final analysis, our most basic common link is that we all inhabit this small planet. We all breathe the same air. We all cherish our children's futures. And we are all mortal.
President Kennedy said, there will be moments of despair and frustration, but we have no doubt about the outcome. I hope you will stay online for the last photo montage after these concluding remarks. While this concludes our event, it does not end our mission. Our mission and our values continue. They cannot be contained in a building or an institution. They are universal. Whoever you are, wherever you are, that calling that brought you to USAID, that passion, that belief that we can change the world one life at a time, community by community, country by country, that passion is needed now more than ever. You carry USAID in you. We're all joined by that. So stay together, help each other, stay strong. You can shutter an agency, but you can't change history. You can cancel contracts, you can't cancel who we are. Most importantly, follow your passion. Thank you.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody can lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Call me if you need a friend. Call me if you need a friend. If you ever need a friend, call me. 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 If you need a friend, call me. 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 Call Oh, there's a river that winds on forever. I'm gonna see where it leads. Oh, there's a mountain that no man has mounted. I'm gonna stand on the peak. Out there's a land that time don't command. Wanna be the first to arrive. No time for pondering why I'm wandering on while we both still alive. To the ends of the earth, would you follow me? There's a world that was meant for us to see. To the ends of the earth, would you follow me? If you won't, I will say my goodbyes to thee. Oh, there's an island where all things are silent. I'm gonna whistle a tune. Oh, there's a desert that size can't be measured. I'm gonna count all the dunes. Out there's a world that calls for the girl, heading out into the unknown. With fear and strangers and all kinds of danger. Please don't say I'm going alone. To the ends of the earth, would you follow me? There's a world that was meant for.
I took my love, took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around. And I saw my reflection in snow-covered hills till the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? older too. Oh, I'm getting older too. Oh, take my love, take it down. Oh, climb a mountain and turn around. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, where the landslide bring it down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide bring it down.